Good morning, grade 7 students. Welcome to the math classroom. So, before anything else, gusto ko lamang i-remind ko kayo regarding our FB group. Okay, so yung lesson natin for week number 4 ay uploaded na dito sa ating FB group. So we have week 4, part 1, properties and operations of integers. We have also part 2, and the last topic for week number 4 is expressing fractions to decimals and vice versa. Okay, so ito yung dapat na unahin ninyo bago ninyo sagutan yung ating activity sheets. So, ang gagawin ko lang ngayon is we have a recall on what you have learned on the 3 videos and then the instruction about the activity sheets. Okay, so before anything else, pwedeng pakilabas yung activity sheets ninyo. Okay, pakibuklat ninyo doon sa week number 4. So, based from the MELC, ang ating learning competency is illustrates the different properties of operations on the set of integers. And that is properties and operation of integers. So, meron tayong mga references na ginamit ng ating writer. Okay. So, halimbawa, hindi ninyo masyadong naintindihan yung videos, meron naman tayo dito sa ating activity sheets. Okay, take note that in the operations of integers, we have how many properties? How many? Okay, so we have 6 properties. The first one is closure property. Second, commutative property. Third, we have associative property, distributive property, identity, and inverse property. So do not confuse about the 6 properties of what? Operation of integer. Okay, so let's have a brief discussion or recall on the 6 properties of what? Operation on integers. The first one is closure. Okay, so your keyword here is close under the operation. What operation is used in the closure property? We have only addition and we have multiplication. Take note that in closure property, we have a unique real number used. Example in the closure property over or of addition, 3 plus 4 equals 7. Okay, ganyan lang yung halimbawa ng closure property. So, 2 numbers that are added, there is a corresponding value or result. Same true in closure property of multiplication. 3 times 4 equals 12. Take note that in closure property, do not use subtraction and division. So closure property is only applicable for addition and multiplication. Next, for the second property of operation on integers, we have the so-called commutative property. The keyword in commutative property is changing the order. What do you mean by changing the order? Palitan mo lang yung arrangement ng given quantity or real numbers. Okay. Take note that the value does not change. Okay. So interchanging, let's say 3 plus 4 is equal to 4 plus 3. So in the first, okay, this is our equal sign. On the left of equal sign, we have 3 plus 4. We all know that 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, if you will interchange the arrangement or the order, Okay, order means arrangement. Okay, 4 plus 3 is also 7. So that is addition commutative property. Let's have multiplication commutative property. 3 times 4 is equal to 4 times 3. Okay, take note. This is not a correct answer. It should be 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Take note that in commutative property, it is also applicable, only applicable for addition and multiplication. Okay? So, your keyword in number 2 is changing the order. Okay, next, associative. So, we have changing the groupings. Okay, how are we going to identify whether the given example is associative property? Because of the appearance or presence of open and closed parentheses. Let's say, the parentheses mean that the values should be added or multiplied. That's why we have addition, associative property. Take note, the real numbers used here are 1 plus 3 are group. Okay, 1 plus 3 is group, plus 4 is equal to, on the left or right side of the equal sign, the numbers that are grouped are 3 and 4. Okay, so take note that in example for associative property, the order does not change, but the groupings are changed. Okay, tingnan natin. So, same true in number 2. You will obtain the same answer. Okay, the result will not change. 1 plus 3 is 4 plus 4, so we have 8. 3 plus 4 is 7 plus 1, so we have 1 plus 7 is also equal to 8. So, for number 1, which is closure, number 2, commutative, number 3, associative, the only operations used here are addition and multiplication. Okay. Next, let's have this one. Multiplication. 2 times 3. Okay, take note of the dot. In higher mathematics, this sign or symbol is one of the symbols used in multiplication. Sometimes in lower mathematics, you will make use of times sign. In higher mathematics, you can have dot, you can have parentheses, or you can have bracket, and so on. Okay, maraming mga symbol na pwedeng gamitin mo sa multiplication. Okay, take note. In here, 2 and 3 is group. Okay, multiplied by 5. So the order does not change. 2 times 3 times 5. But the groupings are changed. Okay, tingnan natin. 2 times 3 is 6 times 5 is 30. In here, we have 3 times 5 is 15 times 2 is 30. Next, how about in distributive property? When two numbers have been added or subtracted and then multiplied by a factor. What do you mean by factor? The number to be used as our factor, or that is what we call multiplication process. The result will be the same when each number is multiplied by the factor and the products and then added or subtracted. Okay, so this is distributive property over addition. Okay, take note. The factor here is 2. This is the number to be multiplied by what? 3 and 4. That's why we have 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. So if you will make use of distributive property, the factor should comes first. Okay? Kapag minultiply mo siya doon sa 3 plus 4, 2 times 3, So, kung ano yung order niya, yun din yung mauuna. Okay, it should not be 2 times 4 ang mauna, no. It should be, you must be organized. It must be organized, okay? So, 2 times 3, and then we have 2 times 4. In here, 3 plus 4 is 7, times 2 is 14. Dito naman, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, so we have 6 plus 8 is 14 is equal to 14. Okay, we have also distributive property over subtraction. Okay, take note. We have 5 as our factor, 4 minus 2 inside of the parentheses, so you can have 5 times 4, but okay, the operation here should be minus because it is under subtraction, okay? Over subtraction. So 5 times 4 is 20 minus 5 times 2 is 10. So 5 in here we have 4 minus 2, that is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 20 minus 10 is 10. 10 is equal to 10. Okay, don't forget about distributive property. You can have over addition, over subtraction, okay, over addition and over subtraction. For the identity property, okay, it states that the sum of any number and 0 is the given number. 0 is the additive identity. So any number added by 0, that is equal to any number. So that's what makes identity. The number that you will use. Okay, take note that if you will use 0 as one of the addends and then added by or combined with any integer, your answer or the result is any integer. Just like 5 plus 0 equals 5. 9 plus 0 equals 9. So, identity. Okay? Identity. And we have multiplicative identity. It is multiplied by 1. Kaya nga meron tayong multiplicative identity property. Any number multiplied by 1 is any number. Just like 10 times 1 equals 10. Di ba? 100 times 1 equals 100. So do not forget about identity property. We have additive, added by 0, multiplicative, multiplied by 0. So this will be your keyword, okay, in the identity. Excuse me. Next, for the inverse property, the last property of operation on integer. So additive inverse, what will be? It states that the sum of any number and its additive inverse is 0. Okay, so we have the additive inverse. Let's say positive 5 added by its inverse. What is the inverse of positive 5? Negative 5. The result is always 0. Let's say positive 10 added by negative 10. The result is 0. Same true in multiplication. The result should always be 1, but you are going to multiply it by its reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal. Let's say 9 multiplied by the reciprocal of 9, that is 1 over 9. Okay, so this will be the explanation. Let us try to insert equation. Okay, insert equation just like this. Okay, so this is 9. The denominator of whole number 9 is 1. You are going to multiply it by its reciprocal. Okay, wait. Okay, multiply it by its reciprocal. Okay, insert equation. The reciprocal of 9 over 1 is its inverse, di ba? 9 or 1. Okay, so you are the shortcut way on how to find out for the reciprocal of a fraction is just the position of numerator and denominator. You just interchange. Okay, so what will be? 9 times 1. So we have how many? 9. Next, 1 times 9 is 9. What is 9? What is 9 divided by 9? So that is 1. Okay. Next, we have here your activity. The first activity will be property identification. What are you going to do is you are going to identify the property that satisfies or justifies each statement. Okay, so I have here a presentation regarding activity number 1. So we are going to identify what property is used. Let's say 0 plus 3. This is similar. This is similar. No, it's not similar. Let us see. Okay, this is similar to activity number 1. Okay? So what property is used in number 1? Take note that we have in here, we have -3. On the right side, we have -3. What property is used in item number 1 since we have the presence of 0 in number 1? Okay, so your choices are the following. You can have closure, commutative, associative, distributive, identity, and inverse. So you go over your activity sheets, the explanation on the properties or your video. Okay? Next, let's go to activity number 2, rewriting expressions. So rewrite the following expressions using the given property. Okay, so I have here an example. Okay, let's say in number 1, item number 1. Okay, how are we going to make this a distributive property? What does distributive property says? There should be a factor, common factor, and that is a, which is multiplied by dito ano ang naiwan is 9 minus dito ay ano ang naiwan, so we have 2. So ganun lang siya. So in distributive property, you find out the common factor between the two quantities. So, and then yung mga remaining niya, you are going to write that in the inside of the parentheses. Okay, next, how about in number 2, item number 2, how are we going to make this as associative property? What do you mean by associative property? You are going to what? Interchange the groupings of the given quantity. And the order will not change. So that is 8 times x times y. So in here, the groupings are 8 and x. 8 times x is grouped. In here, on the right side, you're going to group x times y. That makes associative property. How about in number 3, commutative? Commutative means interchanging the position or the order. So 9 is the first quantity, 20 is the second quantity. If you will interchange, 20 should come first before 9. Okay, next, how about in the identity? What will be? Any number multiplied by, 7 multiplied by 1 is always its identity, which is -7. Inverse property. What will be in the inverse property? Any number added by its inverse is always correct, 0. Next, distributive property. How are we going to make this a distributive property? Okay, take note that the common factor is A. Okay, so we have A multiplied by the remaining quantities we have. In the first, we have 10A, so remaining now is 10. Minus, we have 15B. Okay, that's correct. Next, for number 7, we have associative property. What will be? Changing the groupings, A plus B. Oh, wait. A plus B plus C. Okay, so you are going to group B and C. Next, number 8, commutative property. The same, you interchange the position. 20 or the order plus, okay, 20 plus 15. Okay. Next, identity property. Any number multiplied by 1, and that is multiplicative identity property. So this is equal to negative 9. And for number 10, we have any number added by its inverse, because it is an inverse property, is always 0. Okay, next, how about in excuse me, activity number 3, filling the blanks. There will be 2 answers in each item. The first answer will be the corresponding number in the blank. Okay? And the second answer will be the property used in the given item number. Okay, example. In here, on the right side we have 0. The quantities inside of the parentheses should be 0, so that if you will multiply it by 5, it becomes 0. So what will be? Its inverse, so that is negative 4. So the answer here is negative 4, that is 1 check, and then the property used is inverse property. Okay, so inverse property. So yun yung magiging sagot natin, inverse property. Palitin natin. So ito yung isa sa mga sagot pa ninyo. Yan. Next, for number 2, negative 8 plus 8. Your answer is 0. Okay, what property is used in number 2? That is what? Inverse property. Yan, inverse property. Yan. How about in number 3? Any number added by 0 is its identity, that is negative 10. So you can have identity property. Yan, identity property. Another one, in number 4. Yan, in number 4. Negative 4 added by 4 is how many? That is 0 added by 12, and that is equal to 0 plus 12 is 12. What property is being used in item number 4? That is inverse property. Okay, inverse property. And for number 5, okay, for number 5, okay, so let us try this. Let us try to change this into, let's say, 0. Okay? Let us see in number 5, 7, 7. So this is, no, parang walang sagot dito sa number 5. Walang sagot sa number 5. This is a bonus round in number 5. Because if you will put, okay, pwede pala siya, pwede. No, gawin natin 9 yan. Okay? So, this will be 81 halimbawa. So, what number should be added in here so that if you will multiply it by 9, it becomes 81. And that is 0. So, 0 plus 9 is 9 times 9 is 81. And that is identity property. Identity property. Okay, next, let's move on to item number 6. Okay, palitin lang natin para magkasya. Ayan, pero palakihan natin yung monitor. Okay, so let's have number 6. Number 6. 8 plus 3 equals blank plus 3. So, interchanging the order of the given real number. So, we have 8. And what is that? It is just commutative. Commutative property is used in number 6. Commutative property. And for number 7, the same. So make use of the interchanging of the position between two numbers, negative 10 and positive 8. So this is 8. Okay, same true in number 6. And that is commutative property. Okay, commutative property. I hope na nakakasunod kayo. Next, how about here? We have changing the groupings. Negative 4 plus 7 is group. In here, we have 7 plus 2 is group. So the missing number here is negative 4. And that is what we call associative property. Okay, associative property. So, changing the groupings in the given number. Okay, next. Let's move on to item number 9. Negative 5 multiplied by 4 plus 7. Take note that we have here negative 35 and that is taken from negative 5 times 7 and that is negative 35. And we have also negative 5 times 4. The correct answer is negative 20. Okay, negative 20. And it is what we call distributive property. In your answer, there should always be the last word, property. Do not just write distributive, commutative, identity. Please include property because we are referring to properties of operation of integers. Okay, next, we have negative 12 plus blank equals negative 12. That is added by 0. Okay, added by 0 and it is what we call identity property. Okay, identity property. Okay, so any questions so far? So this is the content of what we call properties on the operations of integers. Okay, so if there are no questions, then thank you and good luck.